Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Bvrial, and we did it. We got to the end of the year, and here I have my favorite 50 metal albums of 2023. There was so much good metal that came out of this year, so many riffs, and to nail it down to 50 was honestly a lot harder than I expected. I had this list down to like a top 70 because I how am I going to get rid of these final 20? I had to cut out records that I absolutely adored, that I bought on physical copy, that I have a vinyl of in my collection, but no, I had to get it down to 50, and somehow I did it. And so let's not delay any longer and let's get into it. At number 50 out of Portugal, Sky Burial by Concilium, coming out of Sentient Ruin Laboratories. Black metal meets racing grindcore. This is bleak. It's unforgiving. So much noise, and at times it's just so horrifying. For those who enjoy experiments in complete inescapable dread, this one will do that for you. At 49, Zurich's Megaton Sword gave us might and power off of Dying Victims Productions. And after following 2020's excellent Blood Hail Steel, Steel Hair's Fire, Megaton Sword did not disappoint. Epic, hook-laden heavy metal, complete with kick-ass riffs and convicting vocals. At 48, out of Leeds, Pest Control gave us Don't Test the Pest, coming off of Quality Control HQ, and this is some ripping crossover thrash. You got these slicing riffs meeting this aggressive punk energy, and at 21 minutes, that's all it needs to completely knock you on your ass. At 47, Weald and Woe gave us For the Good of the Realm out of Boise, Idaho, and it was released on FIA Productions. Epic melodic black metal. There, the riffs, the licks soar. It feels all triumphant, and it's given through this medieval sort of setting. It's melodic, but it has this palpable aggression, and it's glorious. Coming in at 46, Riluo from Laang, this independent release from this Taiwanese black metal act. And this is very emotion-driven black metal, maybe has some post-black leanings into it. And it pairs that with some really cool symphonic elements, but it's not the symphonic elements you are used to from like the Scandinavian school of symphonic black metal. This is very different. It has its own unique sound that I want to keep revisiting. 45, Arnaut Pavle, Transylvanian Glare from Finland. This is a co-release from Mystic Chaos and Amor Fati Productions. Nasty, vampiric, punkish black metal, a record as dark and wicked as the album cover. For those who like that raw, no frills black metal, you're gonna love this. It also has my favorite track title of the year, Baptized in Jesus' Piss. At 44, One Nightmare Unto Another from Montreal's Profane Order off of Nuclear War Now Productions, a absolutely hellish blast of war metal. It's grisly, it's ferocious. You get this militaristic drumming and these pounding, stomping guitars. One of the finest this year in this more chaotic, bestial black metal subgenre. 43. At the Altar of the Horned God, Heart of Silence. This came out of I Void Hanger Records, and out of Madrid, this very original take on black metal, one that combines it with elements of neo-folk and dark ambient and just this ritualistic nature. It's full of these ceremonial chants and these ghostly noises. It's a dark and enchanting listen. At 42, Flint, Michigan's Baazlvaat gave us Beautiful World. What the hell was this? By far the most eccentric, zany, colorful metal albums I've heard this year. It's an oddball of a release with plenty of charm to back it up. Folk, black metal, but so many other things. It's hard to really put this in any sort of box. Just every track is a kaleidoscopic head scratcher. If you want different, here you go. 41. Mexico City's Reverence to Paraoxysm with Lux Morte off of Me Saco Un Ojo Records. Cavernous. Oppressive death metal with some doomy elements. The thing is bleak and it's unforgiving. It will make you feel like you are being closed in on. It's pure dread with heavy freaking riffs. Complete that with these bone-chilling low growls. This thing is putrid. At 40, Maryland's Vile Ritual gave us Caverns of Occultic Hatred off of Sentient Ruin Laboratory. This is unforgiving, blackened death metal that pushes sonic chaos to an extreme. This thing is full of bludgeoning drums and animalistic guitars. If you like music that is just pure punishment, get on this. 39, After the Fall from San Antonio, Texas's Thunder Horse off of Ripple Music. This is rough and tough doom metal with this electric, almost hard rock sheen to it. At times it leans into stoner territory, and other times it has the hookiness of a grunge tune. This thing has slow, gnarly, heavy riffs. At 38, Belgium's Slow gave us Abemus 1. It comes off of Aural Music. And this funeral doom duo kills it here. This thing is beautifully crushing. Dense emotion is found everywhere through these thick, slow, droning riffs. You will feel utter despair listening to this, but also be in complete awe at how gorgeous that can actually be expressed. This is a dense listen, it's a heavy listen, and it's an impactful listen. At 37, Boston's Ushangvagush gave us Pestmo'qon. This is coming off of Realm and Ritual, and this is some indigenous, raw black metal. Lo-fi, grim and cold, just as I like it, but there's also a lot of moments of serenity on this as well. 2 tracks at 40 minutes. This thing guides you through these musical peaks and valleys. It's a journey. At 36, I have the Fractal Ouroboros from the US-based Bull of Apis, Bull of Bronze off of Fia Productions. And on this second full length, Bull of Apis, Bull of Bronze continues with this theatrical, spacious, anti-fascist black metal. Building crescendos are pieced together by these cinematic ambient textures. This is black metal that is plenty sinister and caustic, but also rather thoughtful and mesmerizing. You can check out the recent interview I did with Bull of Apis, Bull of Bronze's Ashley and Akerai. At 35, coming out of Amor Fati Productions, Haxanu gave us Totenpass, a blistering piece of US black metal, US melodic black metal. And yes, the melodies play a huge role, but not in the sense that it's trying to be pretty. Instead, those melodies act as these occultic signals. It's a cold listen, it's very heavy, and it's equally exciting. At 34, Slovakia's Malo Carpetin gave us Verminous Caesar off of Invictus Productions. Blackened heavy metal takes this cold snarl and attaches it to these traditional metal riffs with a deep sense of folklore too, and communicates that through its deeply progressive leanings. 33. Milan's Frozen Crown put out Call of the North off of Scarlet Records. Epic, towering power metal with emphasis on the metal. These riffs are very heavy. These guitar acrobatics everywhere. The musicianship is top notch across the board, and the songwriting is fantastic. 32, out of Long Island, New York, Restless Spirit gave us After Image off of Magnetic Eye Records. Fuzzy, pounding, psychedelic stoner doom. The music here is hazy and aggressive, muddy, crushing riffs with fun anthemic hooks to match, and does all of that very well. At 31, Oakland, California's Vastum gave us Inward to Gethsemane off of $20 Spin, and this long stay in death metal continues a fantastic string of records with more guttural, ugly, cavernous death metal. The music is thick, it's hostile, it's rotting in slime with horrifying vocals and riff after riff after riff. You can check out the interview I did with guitarist Layla. At number 30, Make Them Beg for Death from Baltimore's Dying Fetus off of Relapse Records. These brutal death metal veterans give a brilliant addition to their catalog. Big, ugly, no bullshit death metal. The thing is pulverizing, it's hideous, and it's just plain gross in all the best ways. At 29, Non Es Deus gave us Legacy out of Germany, and this came off of Noisebringer Records, and here we have some smoky, subtly melodic black metal full of blasphemy and scorn. We get big refrains and these bleak, reverberating riffs, and read the lyrics too, because Noise, the musician behind this project, does a great job of taking well-known biblical motifs and subverting them in very compelling ways. At 28, Ildskjær gave us Blod and Jern out of Denmark, came off of Vendetta Records. This is an excellent black metal record. It's lo-fi and gritty, but also contains this clear vibrancy. It's melodic in a way that's both triumphant and melancholic. And it's a record with so much detail. It's one that really rewards repeat close listens, as there's a lot to uncover here. At 27, Sao Paulo's Fossilization gave us Leprous Daylight off of Everlasting Spew Records. This is some mean, dense, absolutely destructive death doom. The riffs are thick and feel like they are festering in acid, while also there are these completely hopeless passages that feel very, very heavy, especially with a good pair of hands. At 26, Sweden's Evermore gave us In Memoriam off of Scarlet Records. Fantasy-laden, epic power metal that I fell in love with. Uplifting but riff-centered choruses, fantastic harmonies, great guitar work, lyrics that paint these vivid stories. There were many moments in the thing that made me want to raise my fist and say, but hell yeah. At 25, coming out of Copenhagen, Afsky gave us 100 År off of Vendetta Records. And on this third release from Afsky, following up a sophomore effort that saw quite a bit of acclaim, Afsky continues to give us this vivid, melancholic black metal with a dark atmosphere, but also this feeling of sadness and loss that's communicated in such a moving and compelling way. At 24, Minnesota's Pestmo'qon gave us the Rime of Memory off of Bind Rune Recordings, and this prolific black folk artist who combines black metal with elements of bluegrass and other folksy genres does it again. Here we continue with another excellent Pestmo'qon release that is blistering but also enchanting, fierce, scything black metal riffs meet these gorgeous sun-bathed soundscapes. At 23, Montreal's Phobocosm gave us Foreordained off of Dark Descent Records. This is some apocalyptic, dissonant death metal. You are going to have to wade through all of these suffocating textures, but it's worth it to get through to the sheer power of these riffs and these unforgiving tunes. It is completely unforgiving. It is a destructive piece of death metal. At 22, Black Medium Current from Dot Heimsgard, coming off of Peaceville Records. These Oslo black metal veterans come through with a listen that is so alluring and mysterious. It takes black metal to rather intentionally weird directions. You are definitely going to get the black metal, but it's going to be fused to everything that they can find that works, from free jazz to trip hop to industrial. It's a confusing listen, but one that is highly addictive. At 21, Sao Paulo's Angra gave a Cycle of Pain off of Atomic Fire Records, and this influential power metal / progressive metal act is victorious once again. This thing is beautiful. It doesn't always go for big hooks, even though those are definitely here. These are slow burners that rest on its gorgeous melodic framework. So many memorable songs here. And it's a record that I find myself discovering more and more to love about it as I continue to listen. At number 20, we're getting to the top 20 now. Phantifaxif out of Toronto gave us Hive Mind Narcosis off of Dark Descent Record, the first Phantifaxif record since the highly celebrated 2014's Sacred White Noise. And here, Phantifaxis gives us this alluring, super cryptic piece of avant-garde black metal that plays as the most complex black mass ever put together. The music is challenging, it's dissonant, it's uninviting, but damn is it an exciting ride. At 19, we got 7 Crowns and 7 Seals from Germany's Sulfur Eon off of Van Records. This is a monstrous, overwhelming piece of blackened death metal. It has that bludgeoning force, the right amount of it from the death metal, and the right amount of that screeching wickedness from the black metal. It's a perfect recipe. At 18, out of Attica, Greece, Sacred Outcry released Towers of Gold from No Remorse Records, an incredibly ambitious power metal record. The music takes so many turns. It creates this complete epic journey. The songs here are big anthems. They're glorious. At 17, out of Philadelphia, we had Wild Rites and Ancient Songs from Blazing Rites. This is coming off of Gates to Hell Records. And here we have epic heavy metal at its core. Dio inspired fantasy, quest-ready horn raisers with chilling theatrical vocal performances and galloping instrumentals, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. At 16, out of California, Cirith Ungol off of Metal Blade Records gave us Dark Parade, and these veterans of this doom metal meets trad metal meets US power metal sound show no sign of slowing down or just honing in. The second album since they reunited, and the songwriting chops are still there. I had the insane honor of getting to sit down and chat and interview Cirith Ungol's drummer, Robert Garvin, which you can find on the channel. At 15, the Enduring Spirit from Toronto's Tomb Mold off a $20 spin. And this well-acclaimed act in the whole old-school death metal revival took everyone by surprise, releasing this without much prior fanfare at all. And they went in an unapologetically proggy direction. It's old-school death metal meets Rush in a lot of ways. They bring in some more melodic sections and some more off-kilter passages. They go weird in a way that they are completely in control of. They know exactly where they are taking this. And it sounded so good. And you can check out the interview I did with Payson and Max of Tomb Mold earlier in this year. At 14, out of Brisbane, Midnight Odyssey released Bioloom Part 3, a Full Moon Madness off of I Void Hanger Records. And this ambient black metal underground veteran gives us another 2-hour long plus odyssey, and it's totally worth the sit through. Just maybe you just gotta trust me on that. It justifies its runtime by being so expansive and mystifying and honestly otherworldly. You are just gonna get lost in these building soundscapes, so just embrace it. At 13, we had Evenfall of the Apocalypse from Portland's Ascended Dead, coming off of $20 spin. And maybe at first glance, this could be just another of those thick, cavernous, ugly death metal albums. And it definitely is one of those. But this one stands out for being surprisingly nuanced and detailed. The more you dig into it, the more I listen, the more it becomes this intricate, complex record that becomes better every time I dive into it. At 12, we had the self-titled debut from Seattle's Heffedbahn, coming off of Northern Doom Records. And this was a very intriguing listen for me. It's, on one hand, this brash, pounding black metal, almost war metal, and it has that brutality throughout, but it's combined with this folk metal, neo-folk, sort of pagan backdrop, and those two aspects are married in a way that I didn't know was possible. This thing is haunting and darkly beautiful, but also completely ugly and hostile. It's so many contradictions put together in the most satisfying way. At 11, out of Alessandria, Italy, Mortuary Drape gave us Black Mirror off of Peaceville Records. This band is a veteran of the black metal world. They give black metal this kind of gothic allure and really look to the first wave of black metal in some of their songwriting methods. Mortuary Drape records often play out as this dark, otherrealmly ritual, and this record is no different. The mood, the atmosphere that they are able to conjure here matches the best moments in their discography. Now for the top 10. Hitting number 10, we have the self-titled from Minadra, this anonymous, mysterious US black metal project. Originally put this out as a self-release, but later we saw a tape release out of Fia Productions. And here we get this smoky, raw, desolate black metal that feels like it's diving into necromancy almost. Scarring vocals, intense riff. This is some cult shit. At number 9, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Majesty's dropped Vast Reaches Unclaimed off a $20 spin. Melodic death metal done so right, bringing back that Gothenburg sound. Heavy, sharp, crisp riffs that snarl at you, but also have these eruptive, emotional melodies. The riffs are cutting. The writing is fantastic. The instrumentation is so spot on throughout. I loved this thing. At number 8, out of Long Beach, California, Odes Manuk gave us Zur off of Blood Colored Beast. One of 2 surprise releases from Odes Manuk that is following their debut from 13 years ago, and in those 13 years has kind of become a cult icon in black metal. And on this resurgence from Odes Manuk, we get this intense, cinematic, and eerie black metal. It adds dramatic effect to black metal in the best way. This record was an absolute ride. At number 7, Desde Bajo Tierra from Vortice, coming out of Valparaiso, Chile. And this one was released off of Nuba Negra Productions. And this is the most lively, energetic, heavy metal record I heard this year. It's snappy. It has attitude. The harmonies here are exceptional. And I love how they are able to incorporate those Chilean Latin rhythms and melodic motifs. It's such a fresh sound that I was totally enamored by. At number 6, White Frost and Elder Blood from the Leeds-based Fierenholt. And this was released off of Nadermach Productions. Summoning fans will be all over this record for obvious reasons, but it is not a clone of Summoning. Dungeon synth focused epic black metal, yes, but what Fierenholt does is something more pastoral and earthly. It has this hypnotizing atmosphere and has a mystique in a way that is conveyed much more believably than any other project that tried to go for that sort of thing. At number 5, Scotland's Hellripper put out Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags off of Peaceville Records. This rising name in blackened speed metal, in my opinion, puts out his best record yet. The riffs are mean, they are heavy, and they're also catchy as all hell. This record has personality, has so much energy, and it has so much bite. But also, Hellripper isn't afraid to interject some melody there too. Is that black metal aspect coming in? This thing is dark, it's twisted, and it's so much fun. At number 4, out of Long Island, New York, Afterbirth released In But Not Of off of Willow Tip Records. And this is the sound of death metal veterans making the album that they want to make. A fully realized mindfuck of a progressive death metal album. This thing is pummeling, but it's also highly adventurous. You never know where it's going next. So many musical elements are weaved in the most interesting and enjoyable ways. And really check out the conversation I had. I had a fantastic chat about the record with Afterbirth guitarist Cody Drasser, which you can find on the channel. Getting to the top 3 here. At number 3, Upal from Minneapolis's Kosna Chenyi, coming off of Willow Tip Records. A blistering black metal record that plays freely with dissonance and also brings in plenty of melodies and scales and ideas from non-Western musical inspirations, and it all comes through in something so exciting. This is a dark, sinister record that doesn't really sound like anything else going on in black metal right now, and the riffs just slay. I got to chat with DL, the one man behind this project, about the record and black metal in general, so check that out. At number 2, out of Athens, Greece, Auriferous Flame put out Ardor for Black Mastery off of True Cult Records, and goddamn, the prolific Ilos threw everything at this record. Brutal black metal that sees Auriferous Flame finding themselves into some serious thrash territory with these fast, slicing riffs. There are moments here that feel overwhelmingly destructive, yet maintain that cold, reflective atmosphere. This was by far my favorite black metal record that came out this year. The riffs feel absolutely towering. So, here we are. My number 1 favorite metal album of 2023, the one that impressed me more than anything else I heard this year. Violent Creed of Vengeance from Smolder off of Cruz del Sur music, originally from Toronto, now relocated to Finland. This is epic heavy metal meets epic traditional doom that shows such a reverence and love for those classic metal bands such as Pagan Altar and Cirith Ungol. This is heavy quest soundtrack music. There is Sarah's vocals are so powerful here. You definitely feels like she is a character in these stories. The instrumentals have so much color, so much grit. There's no filler in this record. Every song is instantly memorable with high replay value. I adored everything about this record. And that's why it's my favorite. And that's the end of my list. Hopefully something stood out to you. Hope you enjoyed the video. I can't believe it's been a year. I did not expect this channel to grow so much since last year. I am almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who supports. If you are new and you like this video, tell me. Hit that like button. It'd mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. I have a Twitter you can follow. Link to that is in the bio of this YouTube channel. Leave a comment. I love getting to engage with those. I have a Patreon now. Thank you to my patrons already. No pressure to give, but if that is an option, if that is something you'd like to do, support the show financially, help make this more sustainable, I would be so appreciated. Hey, you right there, keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Bvrial, and I'm signing off.